Today I'm going to have another experiment at making baked bread using the Trangia Mini system. One pan, one pot and the burner itself. So at home what I've done is prepared the bread mix. In this is 25 grams of flour, and then I've got a pinch of salt, a big pinch of sugar. I have 10 grams of porridge oats just to give some texture, and a big pinch of mixed seeds. And the final ingredient is I've got about 1, maybe 2 grams of dried active yeast in there. As usual, that's in the ziplock bag and ready to go. The only thing we need to add to this is oil and water. So first thing you need to do is to get some water heated up. You want to just get it warm enough to activate the yeast, and so if you get it too hot you're going to kill the yeast. Too cold and it's going to take ages for the yeast to actually activate. So what I'd recommend is, after walking for a little while during the afternoon stop for a cup of tea, boil up your brew before it gets too hot. Use the water to add to the mix, and you just want it just over body temperature, so you can sort of feel when it starts to feel warm. Then that's when you're going to mix it in with your bread mix. So we're going to let this heat up and see how it goes. So that's been going not long, about 3 minutes now, and when I test the temperature, that is definitely warm, so I'm going to say that is perfect. So what we're going to do now is transfer some of that water, not much, 10-15 milliliters or maybe 20, we'll have to see, into this bag, and it's got to be warm, and that's crucial. And you don't want to add too much water to start with, because like I say, you can always make things thinner, but it's really hard to make it thick again. And classic Tom, I've put a bit too much in that. So 1 second, I am going to go and add a bit more flour while I'm at home. It's good to test. So basically what you're doing here is you're not only mixing it all together, you want to get, you know, the yeast active and active throughout the whole mixture. The active parts of the yeast are going to make this blow up really big as the emits gas, it emits carbon dioxide. It's gonna start getting air coming into it, so it's gonna blow up. So you don't want to get a bag and fill it too much, because then it's going to expand and explode, and you don't want that. Because what we're going to do with this mixture, put this in my jacket pocket close to my chest. I've got a mixture that we are going to keep warm by keeping it next to our bodies. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting the bottom part, well the pot, on there just to get it heated up a bit. And this is what I'm testing really. It's getting it nice and warm, because with an oven you want heat on the top, heat on the bottom. I'm not expecting it to retain its heat, but just takes the edge of the cold away, so it gives it a bit more of a chance. So this is my mixture now. This is a bit of air in there. It didn't expand quite so much as I was anticipating. A bit of oil, and also in there I put some oil, a glug of oil into the mixture. So with that lid, the pan on there, I'm going to get my hands dirty and take a bit of the dough out, make it into a ball, just in the middle of the pan. Be careful at the bottom one, squash out. Now I'm going to put that upside down on there, and then I'm going to hold it about 10 centimeters or so above the flame. So every now and again, I mean I can lower it down, but then make sure every now and again just to cool it off and lift it. I'm hoping that this will stay hot to sort of get heat above the bread, but also I'd like it to cool down a bit so I can take it off when we turn it. So I'm going to hold it for about 4 or 5 minutes. It might seem like a long time, but for freshly baked bread I don't think that's much of an onus. If you shake it every now and again, I can hear it moving in there. It's good, it means it's not sticking. I'm going to pass the time by watching a bit of Something or Nothing. And if you haven't checked these guys out, I highly recommend you do. It's starting to smell of baked bread, which is good. That's nice, it's retaining its heat, which is good for the bread but bad for my fingers. Right, so I've just turned that. It's got a little bit of rise to it, not loads, but I just want it golden brown. And then while I'm turning that over, I'm just getting the heat back onto this pan. Back on it goes. I'm just going to leave it there for a moment and then keep it baking. So it didn't raise much, and partly of that is I didn't make it light enough, but It's a really tasty bread, and especially on a cold day, that would be very welcome, and it's really tasty. Once again, thank you very much for joining me. If you found any value in this video whatsoever, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave any comments. What would you do differently? Did you learn anything? That sort of thing. Until next time, thank you very much.